Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for being here. Muchas gracias a todos los que están acompañando la tarde de hoy. Thank you very much. And now I'm going to share something special about it. Give me a second.
That's called misdirection. When everybody looks up, that's when I see the ball there under the cup. Watch. Now, Michael, you check the cup, it's solid, but look, it appears to come right through that trap door that you didn't see. We're going to place the ball there, the cup there, the ball goes back into the pocket. I'm going to show you the ball still in the pocket. It's right here. Take it, Joe. You got to toss it up. Oh, but if I place the ball in the pocket, as soon as it hits the bottom of the pocket, Michael, for some reason it reappears right there under the cup. I don't know why, I don't know how, it just does. Now watch this, Mike. We're going to place the ball right there, and it's there already. The only thing is, now, it's a little bit bigger. So everybody in the room can stay, okay? Oh my God. There's 1 and 2. Give Michael a round of applause for very nice work.
Hey, there's the video for Rick. I have some people waiting for me. 1 second. I want to see who's this. Jeff Silver, Brandy, Wayne. Thanks everyone for being here. Give me just a second, please. There is a lot of people coming in. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias a los que están aquí. I'm going to put Rick on speaker view. 1 second. Yeah, Ricky, what's up, Ricky?
Hey, Renee, how you doing? How's everybody going?
Do you hear me really good?
I hear you great.
Perfect. Okay, great, awesome. We're gonna start something. Okay. First of all, Ricky's been my friend for over 20 years. Estoy diciendo que Rick ha sido amigo mío hace 20 años. Lo conozco. Es un mago aquí del sur de la Florida. He's been part of the magic community here in Miami for a long time, even before that. Before I start, Nelson on the way. I have 18 people now, 19. Ricky, before I start, I'm gonna share some pictures and then we're gonna keep talking. But the first thing is, most magicians fell in love with magic and at young age, right? Correct?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Can you describe your first encounter with the illusion and how magic managed to grab your attention and stay until this moment? Go ahead.
Well, as a kid, of course, I watched the Wonderful World of Alakazam, Mark Wilson, Nanny Wilson, and Rebo the Clown, our buddy Ben Bergeron. So TV-wise, that was one of the first I remember, other than, of course, Ed Sullivan, where Of course, I didn't know Fantasio back then, but I saw Fantasio on the Ed Sullivan Show many times, and several other magicians as well. And of course, as a little kid, you get magic tricks or magic kits of Christmas and all that, but nothing really got me until I was in a Woolworths, and I'm looking at the little magic racks. You know, they had the display, they had the color cube, little ball vase, and they had a fake thumb for 99 cents, a fake thumb. And I'm thinking, that thing doesn't look fake. What's that for? So, you know, I left. And then I guess a few weeks later, I'm watching TV and I see a commercial. And this guy is taking salt and pours it into his hand and it vanishes. Then he reaches out into thin air and makes it reappear. Then he took a red handkerchief, put it into his hand, empty. Reaches out, pulls it back. I said, man, I got to have this. And I swear, I can't remember if it was JCPenney or Sears. I think it probably was Sears that was marketing this stuff. So I go down to Sears or wherever it was, and they had these little box magic tricks, TV magic tricks, they called it. And it had a picture of the guy with his hand open and the salt going in and the hand open is gone. $7.50. I take it, I go home and I pour it out, and it's that fake thumb that was 99 cents at Woolworths with instructions. And at first I was ticked off, you know, they paid $7.50 for it.
Okay.
But then when I started to learn how to use it, obviously it's a phenomenal prop, you know, it's a classic. And then I guess yeah, I played around with it. And then of course I had books and played with card magic and all of that. And I didn't really get into the coins up until I was maybe 19, 20 years old. It was in the 70s, early 70s. And I went into a flea market, which was really brand new. I never saw a flea market before. This was in early
do you remember
70s.
what area in New York?
Yeah, it was Massapequa Park, Long Island, New York. And I went in, and the very first booth to the right, it said Magic Castle. And it was not connected with the California Magic Castle. I had never heard of the Magic Castle anyway, but I walked in and the place was packed. It was only a 10 by 10 area, by the way, but it was packed. And the guy is doing cups and balls. So I'm watching this guy, and this guy was unbelievable. His name was Bob Gabriel. And so he gets done. He sold a few. Then I go up to him and I said, "Are you a magician?" There's no kids. He goes, "No, I'm a fucking plumber." You know. Of course, he was a stupid question. So I started talking to him, and like an idiot, I started buying stuff. You know, like all of us do. Then he told me he worked at Esposito's Magic Shop in Rockville Center, which is a full-blown magic shop. And I remember driving out there or taking the train out there to see him on Saturdays, and he would be there. And one of the guys that hung out that you may know of, his name is John Ferrantino. He's
I heard about it, yes.
Yeah, he's a comic magician. He stayed with it and made a full-time living out of it. And what's funny is, you know, I got to know these guys, and you know, he would demonstrate magic, I'd buy it. He'd demonstrate magic, I'd buy it. And one day, you know, some months later, I said, I want to buy one of those chop cups. He says, why? I said, I like that routine. He goes, you already have one. And I had bought a trick months before. I think it was called There's Gold in Them There Hills. And it had a leatherette pouch that would be big enough to fit over a glass like this. Okay. And inside it had a magnet, and it had these little gold dust bags, and one of them was magnetic, and you could do a chop cup routine. I just didn't know that's a chop cup. You know, it's the same damn thing. But, you know, I had lost that thing since, ended up, of course, buying this chop cup from a guy, Walkie Van Duyken from, I forget where Walkie's from. I think somebody told me he passed away. I'm not sure. But, you know, I graduated to the bigger chop cup eventually. So, you know, that, and then also with Bob Gabriel, he's the one that taught me coins. I watched him doing coins. And after I was buying tricks and tricks and tricks, and he saw I was getting interested in the coin magic, he says, look, hold it. Don't buy any of this junk. He says, buy this. And he gave me Bobo's modern coin magic.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
And that's what I started reading, and I learned the coins from there. And then Bob would critique me. So that's how I got into the coin. And the coin act I'm doing today is basically what I learned and worked with Bob back in 1972, 73, I guess it was.
You have a lot of the style that you have doing coins. It looked similar to David Roth. Do you ever meet David Roth?
Yeah, I mean, David Roth, I hired him for the first Magic on the Beach. He was the last act I hired.
Very good. We're going to talk about that later. Yes,
yeah, we'll
that's
talk
fine.
about Magic on the Beach later. But yeah, David Roth, and I never took lessons for it. I had a lot of his videos, and I've done some of his stuff, you know. We'll talk about that later too. But yeah, David, and there's no doubt, I'm sure Bob probably, you know, knew of David because we were out on the island. Bob did take lessons from Slidini, and that's where the coins across and the flying eagles and all of that, the coins through the table came from. But I ended up buying all those books too, you know, Slidini's books on magic, and you know, just went from there.
Okay, what about any advisor, any magic teachers? Talk about it.
Well, like I said, the only teacher I would have, it would say was early on was Bob Gabriel in New York. And then I never joined the IBM. He had told me about the IBM. He said, you should try out for the IBM. I go, what do you have to do? You have to put an 8-minute routine together and you go before a panel of judges. Well, I wasn't going to do that. I didn't want to perform in front of 8 guys, you know, professional. So I never did it. And that was in the 70s. I didn't join the IBM until I came to Miami, and I joined in 1992. So all those years, I could have been an IBM member since the early 70s. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, but, you know, that's the only regret. I wish I had joined the IBM sooner and gotten more involved. And I kept doing magic in New York up until 79 when I moved to Miami. And unfortunately, I could not find, somewhere in a box is pictures of me in New York without the beard, a full head of hair, doing magic at Madden's Pub. Actually, it was Joey D's then. It was sort of a farewell performance because we're getting ready to go to Florida. And I actually have a picture of me levitating a girl in Madden's Pub, you know, and I'll find it, but not right now.
I have some really good pictures here. I'm going to show you now. Hold on a second.
Yeah, there I got some hair.
There it is.
That guy there is Frank. I don't know his last name. He was the bell captain at the Surfside Beach Hotel in Miami.
That's in Miami, okay.
Yeah, and I had a car rental agency franchise out of the Surfside Beach Hotel, and they did I think it was a New Year's Eve, not New Year's Eve, excuse me, it was 4th of July party, and I did some magic at it. It was a beach party, obviously. That's why I'm in, you know, bathing suit and short shirt. But yeah, I was doing a coin routine there and then card trick down below for that young fella. And that was probably back in 1983, 82, 83. Yeah.
What about this one? Where was it?
That was at my sister-in-law's sister's Halloween party. That was in October of 83.
Wow. Here in Miami also?
Yeah, that was in Miami. Iska, her last name, gosh, I don't remember Iska's last name. Her sister is married to Martha's brother. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, and that was the card stab I did there, I guess, with all those little kids.
I got a couple more.
That was Martha's birthday party. That's Martha's mother. She lived to be almost 100. Her son, Manfred.
Wow.
He's 50. His son, the kid there to the left, he's 50 years old now. So
wow.
That was a while ago.
You're doing Scotch and soda there? I can see.
Yep, that's Scotch and soda. And it was, you know, having the coin through the glass. Yeah.
No, awesome.
Yeah.
On the bottom is the same party.
Same
party.
Yeah, Martha's right there. Yeah, Martha's there. And then her son, Manfred, the sister who's still alive. And then the blonde girl was friends with Beba, the daughter.
Okay.
I don't know the girl's name. Yeah, it was years ago. That's 83. That was in May of 83.
Yeah. I have another picture of you levitating. Who's that?
That's Martha.
That's Martha?
Yep. That was at the Miami Herald Christmas party. They asked me to do a magic show.
Oh, wow.
And that was at the Police Benevolent Hall, which is close to the Polish American Club where we used to meet. I can't remember the exact address. But that curtain, I went there. They didn't have a curtain, but they had a roll of this material. So it was a huge roll of this purplish material. So I just hung it in the drop ceiling and rolled it down to the bottom and back and back and back and forth. And then that levitation is U.F. Grant. He had a manuscript. And basically, it's 2 sawhorses. The one here and the closest to the screen by the Christmas tree. I'm pointing like an idiot. You can't see it, but that's you can see it's a sawhorse. You can see the other one. You can see
yes.
And then it's just a plank of wood. What I did put some foam rubber on it to make it a little more comfortable.
Got it.
And some of the material to match the screening. And that method, the UF Grant, behind the curtain is another sawhorse, and Martha's brother's there pushing down on it like a seesaw to lift it up off the sawhorse. And then Martha's nephew, which is her brother's son, he was my assistant. He moved the sawhorses left and right. I didn't have a hoop, but I had a Fantasio cane. So I started with a silk, turned the silk into a cane. Okay. And then I just took my left hand and rotated around Martha. And then when I came to the beam, I just handed it to my right hand and came all the way around to show there was no strings attached.
Very good.
But what was funny is her brother is behind the curtain. And he was supposed to start rising when I'd say, okay, Martha, I hypnotized her, I laid it, I said, rise. And he didn't hear me. And I'd say, rise. And somebody, in fact, the guy's name to this day, I remember his name, Louis Serpa. He was a manager at the Herald. He yells out, what's the matter, Rick? Can't get it up. And of course, everybody starts laughing. But then as soon as he starts laughing, Nelson starts to rise. And you could drop like a pin drop. Everybody like, shut up. She's rising. And she floated up. And then we moved the sawhorses and she was hovering up and down. Very and I put the sawhorses back together again. And then what I did is I unhypnotized her. And then I dismantled the whole thing. I took the board off, pulled the sawhorses into each other. They covered the slit in the curtain. And I put the plank on the floor. And that was it.
Very good.
It was a cool show. Yeah.
This is a magic store. You used to work in a magic place. I remember you told me the stories.
Me and Perry Maynard had this place up in Fort Lauderdale.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, we actually started one in Homestead at the they called it the Value Mart, I think. And it was a flea market. My wife had a jewelry store there. And Perry and we said, let's put a magic shop in that. So we rented the space. We ordered everything from, I think it was Robin's Magic.
Robin, yes.
Morrissey for some of that, like the lion up there, that came from Morrissey. I had a bunch of stuff from Morrissey, which is out of business now in Canada.
Yeah, correct.
We ordered all this stuff. It's coming UPS, and Hurricane Andrew hits. And we never saw the stuff. We never even opened up in the Value Mart because it was destroyed in Homestead, Florida. It was destroyed in Hurricane Andrew. So luckily, we didn't have to pay for the goods because we never received it. UPS, I guess, had to pay for it. And then months later, up in Fort Lauderdale, they opened up a thing on Oakland Park Boulevard. And
the swap shop, huh?
Yes, the swap shop. Well, no, it wasn't a swap shop because that was outdoors. This was an indoor flea market. And Perry and I opened up this place, and the rent was like $400 a month for like 10 by 12 or 10 by 15. But what was funny is we told the guy, let us do magic shows on Saturday afternoon for free rent. And he said, okay. So we were there rent free. And then by doing a magic show, it was like a half-hour commercial. The first one we did, that Perry and I did, Perry was new to Florida. He was from New York. I don't know if anybody remembers Perry.
I remember Perry. I know who it is.
He's in Vegas now.
He's in Vegas right now with a big company about MyFlix, something like that.
And he also has several magic shops.
Yes.
But Perry was a bit of a con artist. He advertised, that he was an assistant to David Copperfield, and that he's going to be performing. And all the folks from Fort Lauderdale Magic Club come up to see this assistant of David Copperfield. And I said to him, I said, when the hell were you an assistant to Copperfield? He said, he did a show in New Rochelle, where I'm from. New Rochelle. And he called me up on stage.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So it's advertising. Here, this was a house party, and I stuck a toothpick through my tongue.
Oh, a toothpick.
But the only sad thing about this picture, I don't think I have the actual picture, but there's a picture that shows the kids whose party it was. And one of the kids, his name is Emilio Macia. That name may not mean anything to anybody, but after I tell you who he was, you'll say, oh yeah, I know him. He was one of the 3 guys killed with that pitcher in the boat accident, the Marlins pitcher back about 5 years ago. Yeah. He was a little kid. I've known him since he was a kid. I knew his mother since obviously since he was 5 years old.
Wow. That's so sad.
And Yeah, and then a couple of years ago, we get a call from his wife, his mother rather, and he was killed in that boating accident. He had been
Yeah,
working at Wells Fargo,
mm.
and he went to meet this guy through a mutual friend. And he says, "Listen, you can meet the guy. Come on out on his boat tonight." And he was living in where the American restaurant was. He was living up above in the condo.
Oh, wow.
There. So it was midnight. He was already sleeping, and his friend says, "Come on down. We're in the bar. Have a few drinks." And then after they had a few drinks, he says, "Come on out on my boat."
Wow.
And he did.
Oh.
And here, this is cool.
This is really cool. This is really cool.
I go into New York, right, from Miami.
Okay.
And I'm in coach, of course, and I'm putting something in the overhead bin. And I look back and I see this guy putting something up in the bin and coach. I said, "Damn, that looks like Harry Blackstone." And he's looking at me and I'm staring at him because, I don't know. So I don't say anything. He's a few rows back and we're crowded. So we sit. Then we get down to the luggage and I'm standing next to him. And I said, "I'm sorry I was staring at you, but you look a hell of a lot like Harry Blackstone Jr., the magician." And he says, "Well, there's a very good reason for that."
That's
so
me.
I got that picture. And I said, "But I thought you'd doing a halftime show in the Orange Bowl for New Year's." He goes, "Yeah, but before that, I have a show in the Tropicana in Jersey." So he was going to do a show in the Tropicana.
And then he goes to the Orange Bowl. Wow.
Left the next time for the Orange Bowl and did that show at the Orange Bowl.
Amazing.
So
I have a picture here of you and Marta.
Oh, that was from the Christmas party at the Herald. That was her outfit. I don't remember where she bought it, but it looks like a costume, but it worked good for us because it was a nice outfit, and I levitated her. Anyway, we were just dancing after the party. But the guy over there in the gray suit behind the light,
yes,
I think that's Louis Serpa, who said, "Hey, Rick, can't get it up."
Oh my God.
So that's
awesome.
82. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. I have another.
I was about 100 pounds lighter then too.
I can see that.
I really feel bad. This girl was a member of Ring 45 for about a year or two. And we did a show at Children's Hospital that she actually arranged. Mm-hmm. I actually did magic, but I have a picture of me as Santa. That was her performing. And then Jason Dillanace also came and performed.
Yeah,
so
that's you.
Yeah, that was me. That was a Christmas show at Children's Hospital years ago.
What happened?
What's that?
No, what happened? You talk about the woman, the girl.
I just don't remember her name. I feel bad because she only was a member for a year or two. She might have moved away. And I was going to call Jason. I forgot to call Jason because him being about 30 years younger than me, he might remember her name. There's Jason.
You worked together that day, right? The three of you?
Yeah, we did the show together that day.
Yeah, you did it together. Yeah. So, okay. Let me stop.
That's in my office, advertising office, a bunch of advertising awards on the back. Bob Pollard, who owned the agency, he arranged for a reporter to come down. He did a story on me. I got the full story, a copy of it. And at that time, I was a territorial vice president of the International Brotherhood of Magicians in South Florida. Mm-hmm. And I was also the president of the Advertising Federation of Greater Miami. So he did a story on the both, and I told him how it helped in advertising business, which it does, because not only have I done shows at all my dealerships that I had as clients, but it also helped me get in the door and break the ice a lot of times to see mm-hmm. these guys because they're busy and, you only have a minute or two to meet them and try to arrange an appointment. So the advertising, the magic, being able to do magic and get their attention right away, it's pretty good. Very good.
Now, you're gonna have any good moments or any funny moments or any stressful moment with Perry Maynard in the stores. Oh. So you gotta give me at least two of them. Go ahead.
Well, Perry Maynard was a real smart ass. Okay?
I know. That's what I'm saying. You have to have something good.
After Hurricane Andrew, all right, I had been working at a small agency in Homestead. We're out of business. So I'm thinking, let me get into the advertising for a while. And I asked Perry. Perry was a manager of Old Town Magic in the Bayfront Park, Bayside. Mm-hmm. So I said, Perry, you have any openings that, I'd like to demonstrate magic. Oh, we only pay minimum wage and 10% commission. I said, look, I don't care about the money. I just want to get away from advertising.
Okay, yeah.
So I did. And when you work for a company like that, they have a set formula. They want you to sell, at that time, slush powder, you know, just to get people interested.
Yes, yes, yes.
Perry had a bowl of the slush powder with a spoon in it, and he would show, this is what you do. You have a glass of water, you drop a styrofoam cup, you put the slush powder in, and you take the pitcher of water, pour the pitcher in, look at it, and then throw it at the person and scare them. What that son of a bitch didn't tell me, and he did this to everybody who was new.
Oh, no.
He just put sugar on top of the slush powder.
Oh, my God.
So I throw in a glass of water on some stranger, and he's laughing his ass off in the back room, you know? And now you got to stay there and explain to the guy before he hits you.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that was Perry's sense of humor. He was
That's
crazy.
really bad.
We had Uri Geller came in one time.
Oh, yeah?
And,
Wow.
And the first thing Perry says to him is, bend something. So he goes,
Oh, no.
you have a spoon? And he goes, let me go get one. And he says, Rick, watch the shop. And and he goes running out. Dick Clark had a restaurant in Bayside at the time at the end. So he goes running down, he grabs a couple of spoons, he comes back, and he proceeded to bend a spoon. The funny thing is, you know, he did misdirect Perry, you know, but I'm there too. I saw exactly when he bent the fucking spoon. He just mentioned, and Perry looked away for a second, he bends the damn thing. So Perry figured it out, but we didn't laugh. Oh, fantastic. And he left the spoon, he signed it for Perry, all this other crap. But yeah, we had a couple, one of the Gibb brothers came in, and this is embarrassing. I was by myself that day, and the guy comes in, and I'm demonstrating, he buys it. I demonstrated another trick, he buys it. The guy bought like $400 worth of stuff.
Okay.
And then I asked him if he wanted to join the Old Town Magic Club for $10, and you get a discount, a 10% discount.
Okay.
So he joins, right? He pays with a credit card, and then he leaves. After he left, I realized I never gave him the 10% discount. So I said, oh, damn it. Oh, but he joined. I have his phone number. So I look, and it said Maurice Gibb. I go, are you shitting me? I didn't even recognize the guy, but it was one of the it was Maurice Gibb. So I call up the number, and it was his wife answers.
Wow.
And I explained to him, I said, listen, you know, I really feel bad. Your husband was here. He bought a couple $100 worth of stuff. And I told him if he joins our club, he gets a 10% discount. I said, can you please, you know, ask him to come back and I'll adjust his credit card. She goes, for 10%, don't worry about it.
It's the Bee Gees. What the heck?
That's the multimillionaire. You know, he didn't give a damn.
The Bee Gees.
Yeah,
No way.
But anyway, that
Wow.
that was that.
That is
And
good.
another guy that came in, I'll think of his name. It's funny how things happen, because this was like right after Hurricane Andrew, 1992, 1993. Gosh, he was a German developer who developed a lot of South Beach. I can't remember his name, but he came in, and he ended up hiring me and Perry for private parties, which was good. I can't remember his name, darn it. And what's funny is years later, when I met Jolie's dad, he's best friends with this guy, and I can't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's still around. I don't know if he's still in South Beach, but he's a builder, developer.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, that was my. Oh, so anyhow, what happened after the days with Old Town? Perry says, "Why don't we open up our own magic shop?" I said, "Well, we can't make any less money than we're making here. Why not?" So that's when we started, and then I found out you can make less money than minimum wage by owning your own magic shop. But me and Perry had the magic shop for about a year maybe, and then I basically gave it to him, and I went back into advertising, and then he ended up, you know, taking all that stuff out to Vegas, where he ended up doing very well for himself.
Yes, yes, yeah.
But
So, Ricky, more or less, why do you like to be a magician? Why do you enjoy the most for being a magician?
obviously, it's the fun of entertaining people and seeing the smiles on their face. In fact, you know, I've done quite a bit of work in hospitals and also Ronald McDonald House and
Yes.
an organization called Little Lighthouse.
We've been together, yes, correct.
Yeah, and you've worked with some of them together with me.
Yes.
And, you know, you go in there, underprivileged kids or sick kids, and you bring a smile to the face. Nobody can pay you enough money for that kind of a feeling, you know. It's really good. And as far as performing, I don't do stage. I've done stage / parlor, but I'm not really, that's not my thing. You know, I'm not comfortable doing it. I leave that to the professionals. But bar magic, walk around magic, restaurant, you know, that I enjoy doing, you know.
You enjoy the most.
Yeah, because one, I don't have to practice to do a stage act. You know, everything I've been doing in my close-up act, hopefully it's gotten better over the years, but I've been doing it since 1973. You know, the coin routine, chop cup, all that stuff. But it's just
keep going. I'm gonna show some pictures of you working for the little lighthouse, for example. Keep going, keep talking.
Yeah. So you know, the close-up, and I can relate a story of, if any of you are familiar with Invisible Ink, they don't perform anymore, but real nice folks, husband and wife and their son. I used to love their act. It was a great act. He would dress in a zoot suit from the 20s. His wife would be in a hoop skirt, whatever you call it. And the son would dress up as a little, like a paper boy from the 1930s, you know, with the knickers and the hat. And they would come out and do a whole routine of music, and it was killer. But he would we hired him to do a banquet, and I met him at the banquet hall. I think it was Signature Gardens, and he's loading in. It took him and his wife about 2 hours to unload and set up the stage.
Oh my God.
Their show was about 20 minutes, and we had an opening and middle act, and he did a great job. And then I was with him till he packed up his van, and it was another 2 or 3 hours of packing. And he looked at me and goes, man, I should have taken up close-up magic, because you're spending 5-6 hours of your time loading and unloading, and, you know, for a 20-minute act. But, you know, that's it. And another story that relates to that, years later, you know, Jolie, which we'll talk about later, won the IBM World Championship for junior close-up. And one of her prizes was she got to go to McBride's Mystery School for a week.
Yes.
And being her mentor, her father paid for me to go, because he wanted me to find out what she's going to learn. And there was a woman there who had to be 40 to 50 years old. And she says, I want to be an illusionist. I want to do Grand Illusion Show. And Jeff McBride said, are you independently wealthy? She goes, by no means. He goes, can you afford to buy a truck or rent a truck and pay men to unload and load your cargo for you? She says, no, not right now. He says, well, basically, when you're an illusionist, you're a moving company. You'll spend 90% of your time storing your equipment, loading it onto a truck, driving to the venue, unloading it, do your act, and spend another 6-7 hours loading it. You're a moving company. Do you sure you want to do that? And it's true.
It's true. Yeah.
Another story Zany Blaney told me, he says he used to work trade shows along with Eddie Tulloch. And Eddie Tulloch, who was one of the pioneers of trade show business, he would do 10, 12 hours straight with a deck of cards. That's all he had, was a deck of cards. Mm. And Zany Blaney would do mini stage shows, like dozens of them throughout the day. And he had all his equipment. He had the levitation, the ladder levitation, had all the stuff. And he says, at the end of the night, I'm packing up, and Eddie Tulloch comes by and says, you want to go for dinner? He says, yeah, just as soon as I'm packing up. So he says, well, I'll meet you at the restaurant. I just packed up. And he put the deck in his cart, and an hour later, Zany Blaney would be still packing, you know. So, you know, it's interesting stuff. But, yeah, the close-up, I like the close-up personally. But what I really enjoy more than that, which we'll talk about too later, is producing the shows.
Oh, yes, yeah. We're talking about it. Yeah. We're going to talk about later, yes. Rick, what is your favorite magic trick? Something that you're going to leave home without it when you're going to do a show?
Oh, well, obviously my coin routine.
The coin routine.
You know, that, you know, basically with the deck of cards and my wallet, the coins and the chop cup, I could do 5 minutes at a restaurant table, because again, when you work in restaurants, you don't want to be there when the food arrives. You know,
correct.
So you want to pack up and finish, so you can go quick. But I could stretch those tricks out to a half hour, you know, to 45 minutes, and still make it entertaining. You just talk a little bit more in between, and work slower. But you have my coins for sure, and then a thumb tip. You know, you do miracles with a thumb tip. And in fact, I got paid, I'm trying to think who else, I think somebody else worked with me on the magic, and I'm not sure, but I got paid by a real estate company to come, and I said, but we have a theme. I go, what's your theme? Double commissions. He says, we're going to rent this, we're trying to rent this one office building downtown Miami. Everybody there's a realtor, and we're going to get them to try to rent this place out, and I'm going to pay double commission. So I knew what I was going to do. I said, look, here's what I'm going to do. It's going to cost you my fee. Plus I'm going to need, I said, how many people are going to be there? He said, maybe about 150. So I said, I need $52 bills. And he gave me the money for the $100 for the 250. So I bought $52 bills, put them on my thumb tip, and I'd go around. It's a cocktail party. So all I did the whole night was walk up to a group of 3 or 4 realtors, and I'd say, listen, welcome to the party. This is a double your commission. Let me demonstrate how that works.
Oh, wow.
Does anybody have
Nice.
a dollar bill I could borrow? Yeah.
Nice.
I said, now, if you're going to go rent another office building, you're going to work your butt off, and hopefully you'll make this dollar. But if you rent here, that $1 actually doubles to 2. And I gave it to the guy that rented the bill. I said, good luck and bring us doing business.
Wow.
And the applause, the jaws drop, because late.
Very good.
And that's all I did the whole night. And I got paid, 2 hours, the hourly rate for 2 hours, plus he paid for the bills.
Very good.
And I ended up making $50 because I kept the $1 bills.
You're right. And everyone was happy.
And everybody was happy, yeah.
Wow. Very nice. Now, Rick, do you think to create a magic ad, a magic routine, do you think it's any formula to do it? Or it just came out naturally for you, for example?
Well, like when I taught Jolie or help anybody, whatever you do, you have to write a script for it. So what you want to do is figure out what tricks you want to put together, and then, put ones that flow together and make sense.
Correct.
And then you got to come up with a script idea. One, for instance, I don't have it in front of me. It'd take too long to find, but Jolie wanted to do an act where she came up with the whole concept, not her, because again, I don't want to get into the details, but Jolie's dad was a very pushy guy, a stage dad. And he pushed her, and that's one reason why Jolie doesn't do magic anymore, because she wanted her to be a world champion, and she ended up being a world champion, but she ended up hating magic.
You help her, actually. You help her a lot. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And the bottom line is, she came up with an act. She wants to do just chocolate. And her stage act, she basically came up with, she came up with the idea, then me and Omar Ferrer had to figure out how to get these props made, because all the props, there was nothing you could buy in a magic shop.
Correct.
Okay? So every prop in that act was custom made.
Custom made for her.
For her. And it was her idea, but me and Omar had to figure out how to do it, And
it was a challenge. I can tell you that. It was a challenge.
Oh, yeah. I give Omar 99% of the credit for, he made all those props. Him and George, I take it back, George Robinson also, but we gave George the plans. For the things that George made, we gave him the idea, and we gave him an idea how we thought it should be, and then he finished it up, and he did a marvelous job. I came up with the color changing vest. I came up with the idea. We talked about it. We figured it out. And let me tell you, forget about what he paid, what her dad paid me and Omar, but what he paid in just experimental work to see if this would work was thousands of dollars. I found a company that printed, and this is going back to 2008, at least 8 or 9 years ago, to print on fabric, Hershey's, okay? Because to sew it on or glue it on, it was too heavy. So I found a company that would print on material.
Okay.
And I gave them these jumbo Hershey's, and they just made reams of material, black material with this printed on it. Then I found a guy in Germany, I believe, who made Alex. Oh my gosh, I want to give people credit, but he's the one that had the vest idea, and we sent him this material, and he made a vest out of it. And George Robinson came up with the idea. I mean, I came up with the idea from the spot. Remember the silk where you show the polka dots and you shake it?
And the dots fell.
George made one, but he made it where it was like glued on, and it was way too heavy, and it was way too slow. So then we had it printed, and we actually had a woman here, a seamstress, sew it using the polka dot silk as an example, and it worked a lot better. And it was still a different principle, because it wouldn't, if you know how the other one works, one inside the other comes out.
One is, yes.
anyway, it got it. And then this guy in Germany made the vest. So the vest would be black. Then Jolie would show the silk on both sides with Hershey's. And then she hit it like that, and it would turn black, and she'd show this side. And then when she did this, she grabbed the shoulder of the silk, and as she did this to show the other side of the silk, it would, like a door, swing open.
Yeah, they both change. They change
and all the Hershey's would be there, and as you drop it, and you know, you try to practice everything and try to figure out what's going to go wrong, what could go wrong in an act. We went over almost everything except for one thing. If she picks up the silk wrong and drops the edge beforehand. And I never discussed with her what to do, and I felt bad because that's what happened in the IBM National.
I remember that
competition. And I was in the back.
I was there. Yes.
You filmed it. Yeah.
Yes, I filmed it. Yeah.
I give that girl, she was only 13 years old, and I give that girl, even Oscar Munoz, he was watching from behind. And I know I'm backtracking and double, but before that act, okay, when she applied for this, we had to send Oscar the videos. Then I was talking to Oscar, and Oscar asked me a question. Rick, who sets up the act? Who packs everything away? And I thought about it. I said, well, me and Jolie at the end, when we're done practicing, he says, no, from now on, her practice is her unpacking the act and setting it up and her packing it. Because if you're going to help pack and unpack and she's relying on you and something goes wrong, guess who they're going to blame?
Rick. Yeah.
So when we did this act, when she was competing at the National in Jacksonville, she set everything up, and she didn't make any mistakes. I found out later what happened. So the table with this silk is on the part of the table. It's set pretty back on the stage. When she picked it up, it was so dark, she missed them, because it's very hard to miss picking the corners up. She missed one of the corners. When she picked it up, she missed that corner, and it fell, revealing, you know, and she made a huge mistake. Once that thing falls apart, you need a table, you need a flat surface to lay it down and put it back together. Yes. She spent 30 seconds trying to put it back together and turn it back to the audience on that. But, you know, and this is where I fault myself. You should foresee stuff like that. And I should have told her, if something like that happens, just toss the silk over your shoulder and go on to the next thing.
Yes.
They may realize something went wrong, but they won't know what it was, and you won't have a 30 seconds of dead space, which really killed it. But anyhow, she was a trooper because a lot of things went wrong in that act. The opening act, the open of the act, they announce her, the curtains open up, and her back is to the audience.
Yeah, I remember.
She's supposed to, when the curtains start to open, the music's supposed to start. Then she turns and starts her act, because it's an appearing radio from nothing. And she, you know, and you want to have the music, it has to all be synced up. And it was King Productions. Curtains open up, no music.
No music, yeah.
And I'm in the back watching, so I start running as fast as I could at the time to the booth, and I got about halfway there, which was probably about 10 seconds, and then he started the music. But that whole 10 seconds, which is a lifetime when you're on stage in front of an audience, she never budged. She just stayed until that music started. And I'll tell you, that's professionalism, you know, because especially for a 13-year-old kid to be that composed, she did good. But
listen, I remember you went every single Saturday, right? I'm correct?
Sundays, yeah.
Sundays, I'm sorry, Sundays. And you did a wonderful job. Yeah. I remember Joy Lee looking at you like you are the master. So you did a wonderful job. Don't feel bad or nothing. You did a really, really good job.
Well, the good thing is the close-up back, she did win the world championship. And that was interesting because I insisted she uses a microphone and a sound system, and we had music. We, at least on the junior, I think even on the seniors, the judges told me we were the only act with a sound system.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it because we're moving from room to room.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate, they only allowed us to film in one room. So everybody had cameras in this one room. And I don't know if it's because they knew we were filming, but the audience was not very into it.
Yeah, they're not responding. Yeah.
Is the act that bad? And it wasn't just Jolie, it was all the acts. And I'm thinking,
everyone.
They're probably not applauding because they think they're going to interfere with the sound, but that's stupid. We want the applause. Mm-hmm. So the act went perfect. And then she had to go to the next room. And the next 2 rooms she went to, she had standing ovations. All right. And what was good about it was the second room we went into, the act right before her was Shin Lim.
Shin Lim? Yeah.
He performed, and I'm watching this guy, and Jolie's watching this guy, and we see the standing ovation. And I told Jolie, he's a senior. Don't worry about it. He's not a junior.
Of course.
And he got a standing ovation. Mm-hmm. Then Jolie went on. She got a standing ovation.
She got it. I was there, Rick.
Yeah.
I was sitting right there. Yeah. Yes.
And and then the next time she had the next room, she followed Shin Lim too. But how cool is that to follow a guy who ended up winning the world championship on America's Got Talent, and you were right there with him.
It is really cool.
But okay. that was that.
Okay, so. And one of the questions that I have, I think you already answered about that. The question was how you handle, well, in this case it's gonna be you, but how you handle a stressful situation, a mistake on the stage, a mistake doing close up. Almost. Go ahead.
With me, working in New York, I worked a lot of bars. And bars, I drank a lot too. So, but you get a lot of people drinking. And I'm working this one place, and there's this guy who was just harassing me the whole night. So I did the thumb cuffs back then. So I call him up. I said, you want to help me with a trick? And, everybody egging him on. So I pulled out the thumb cuffs. He goes, I know how to get out of those things. So he, first he puts them on me. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
And then he goes, I know how these things work. I said, really? So he puts them on me, and if I do my routine, he says, I know how they work. I said, do you think you could escape from them? He goes, yeah. I put them on, and as soon as I start putting them on, he put his thumbs the right way. And I said, you really do know how to get out of these, don't you?
Oh,
and
he
smiled. God. He smiled, and he relaxed. As soon as he relaxed, I tilted him, and I clamped down as hard as I could.
That's it.
So now he's trying for a minute or two, can't get out, and everybody's laughing at him. He's on the floor trying to pull him off.
Oh, my goodness.
He's in pain. He goes, all right, man, I can't get out. Give me the key. I said, what key? I don't have a key. I thought you knew how to get out of them. And everybody, so I made this guy squirm. Then I finally produced the key. So that's how I handled that asshole.
Very nice.
But, stress. I've had things go wrong. And what I found over the years, 99% of lay people don't realize something went wrong.
Correct.
And you just move on. You
keep going. Smile on the face and keep going.
Yeah. I remember I competed, I think, one time at IBM National, and I never even made it to the finals. I barely got out of the room. I'm doing my coin routine. And the very first thing, Bob Bengal actually taught me the open, because I was doing my own thing, right? Where he just put 4 coins here and here. Bengal would just reach into his pocket, say, I got 4 coins, toss them into the hand. I would reach into the pocket like I'm looking for coins. I pull some out of here, and I say I had 4, and I had the other one here. So Bob would just reach in, do it. I said, boy, that's really smooth. That's better what I do. He goes, Rick, it's a friction pass. I said, what? He showed me. You just take 5 coins here, toss it sideways. They all go into this hand, but the bottom coin stays right in your hand.
Correct.
So Bob taught me that. And so here I am doing the IBM National, and I do that, and one of the coins misses my hand and goes on the floor. And I looked up and go, that's part of my floor show. And I got to laugh. I bent over, picked the damn thing up, and kept going. But, I didn't win anything. But, because what I do basically, as I found out later, these contests, no matter how good you are, you get a guy like Danny Garcia coming with nobody's seen that thing, whatever he does, they're looking for originality. And what I do is an original. It's, basically it's got my own pattern, own personality, but it's coin routines that almost everybody's seen or does. At least I think they do.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, Rick, as I asked another interviewers, who is your role model as a magician? Who is somebody that when you saw it anytime, maybe on TV, online, maybe live, you go crazy?
Yeah, because I like close-up magic myself. Obviously, when I was younger, it was Di Vernon and Slidini watching these on TV. I remember Dick Cavett would have Slidini on, you know, a lot, you know, 3 or 4 times a year on his show, and I'd watch it. They're all on YouTube, by the way. You can see it.
Yeah.
So I bought Slidini's books, and you know, the 2 books, they have the photographs here and then the instructions there, and I try to learn a lot of his stuff. So he had a big influence. Di Vernon, again, I'm not a card guy. I mean, Renee, you do cards fantastic, but I can do Di Vernon's Triumph Turnover pretty good. I don't normally do it because, you know, that's a sit-down trick with a table, and normally you're not there. It's not conducive to restaurant work. But just the other day, I did it for somebody who was talking about it, you know, Di Vernon's version. But then other than that, because of the coins, you know, it's really not just one person. David Roth, obviously, because he was the coin guy back for years. Now today, you got so many guys. You know, I mean, what's his name? Oh gosh, the other Japanese guy, Shurogawa. Yeah, you know his coin.
People listen. People don't know this, and I know for a fact. Yeah, you were the first guy to bring Shurogawa here to the United States.
Yeah, well, he was in the United States, but we were the first ones to have him in a convention.
To have it in a convention. I'm sorry. That's yes.
And I got to give Gregory Arce credit for that.
Correct.
Who's out in California? He's in California, and he was also in Miami as a Ring 25. And he says, Rick, if you can bring this guy Shurogawa, he's great. And I did, and you know,
it was a hit. It was insane.
He was unbelievable.
Everyone was so happy, man. It was
and
really
I
good.
bought his original ninja rings, the brass ones in the red pouch.
Yes.
In the box with the tape.
No.
And they're still in the box, still in the tape.
You still have it?
Ready for me to learn how to do it. I played with it, and man, there's a lot of intricate moves that, you know, it's doable. You do
of course.
Routine. You do a great ring routine. And one of these days when I get older, I'll have the time to learn how to do it. But yeah, David Roth, and then you know, just a lot of, and these kids today, God darn. I mean, what I'm impressed.
Who impressed you the most from the new kids, the new school?
Danny Garcia. Obviously Shin Lim.
Yeah.
Shin Lim, I'll tell you a quick story on that. Jolie's dad had a home in Saint-Tropez, or, you know, an apartment in Saint-Tropez, and he would go there every summer from July till October. And he would call me up almost every day. He calls me up one day, goes, Rick, I just bought Shin Lim's act. I want you to teach it to Jolie. I go, Michael, why? Why did you buy this guy's act? He's selling it, you know. It's $300, $295. So he sends it to me because he wants me to learn it.
Oh my God.
I think it's a 2-hour video. I'm watching this video.
Yes.
And I start laughing. Now let me backtrack. When I first met Jolie, she was like 10 years old, I think. And she had gone to camp up in New York, and she liked magic. So her father hired me, and he says, I want her to learn close-up magic. Fine. So I brought cups and ball routine, and I bought Di Vernon's book, which I have, which is his basic routine, which is 5 stages. I taught Jolie that Sunday the first stage. I said, now you practice all week, and if you master the first stage next week, I'll teach you stage 2. And that's how we did it. And I would come back, and she'd be so proud. She mastered it. Then we'd go on. And in the beginning, she was perfect because she would practice religiously and want to impress you. It was great. She got that thing down good. Now, why did I break this whole thing up? Oh, okay. So anyway, so yeah, no, I'm sorry. So now, by the time he buys Shin Lim's act, he had pressured her to do the contest, and she was getting all upset with magic. I knew she wasn't going to do it. She was not going to practice this because I'd see her on Sunday, and then next Sunday, you know, she might have gotten what I taught her because she wasn't practicing. So I knew she wasn't going to do it. So I showed her the tape, and she goes, I'm not going to learn this, Rick, because let me tell you, is it learnable? Yeah. How long would it take? It would take a long time. But what was intriguing about the tape was not so much how he mastered what he did, but how he thought of this act to begin with, because it was his basic FISM winning act.
Correct.
And it can't, I'm not going to give the whole thing away because he paid $295 for it. But the one thing that I did take from it, which I made for Jolie, and she used to use it, was he had a servant that he developed. And it was two pieces of very thin plexiglass. And then it was a piano hinge, which a piano hinge will fold flat this way, but stay at a 90-degree angle that way. So when he's traveling on a plane, he folds it completely flat, and it's no more than a 1/4 inch thick, the thickness of the piano hinge. So you can put it into a suitcase or a briefcase, whatever. And then he had Velcro on it. So his actual servants, and he had 3 different servants for that act. One here, and one in the center. And at one they held decks of cards on it. And that would be all pouches that would fold flat as well. So that is very useful. And then he had other stuff that's useful as well, you know, to produce the smoke and all of that nonsense. But it was just, to me, it was interesting to see the creativity, because he talks about that with a friend, how him and his friend came up with the act. And that alone, I mean, not that I would pay $295 for it, but if you have the money, it was well worth just learning to see how he developed this act.
And there is also a disclaimer that you cannot use it online.
You can't use it on online. You can't use it on television.
TV.
You can only use it on private shows.
Correct.
Like house parties. And, you know, because he wanted rights to television rights. I'll tell you another guy you talk about creativity is Matthew Beach.
Oh, yes.
He flew Penn and Teller with that, the wave.
The crazy deco card with all the, I know.
Wave.
Nelson has one. It's insane. It's ingenious.
I have one too, because
you have one.
Jolie's father bought it. Learn it.
Oh my
I showed
God.
it to Jolie. I go, Jolie, and she goes, Rick, I'm not gonna do it, because you got to memorize that.
It's
deck
insane. It's
and
insane.
Know the cuts. But again, and that one's a lot more affordable than Shinlin's act.
Correct. Yeah.
But if anybody wants to learn the creativity behind a trick like that, I mean, I have to say, guys like Matthew Beach, Danny Garcia, Shin Lim, they have to be a little bit, I'll say, eccentric, because I don't have the time to spend like these guys do. Matthew Beach, of course, it might be just for show business, but he says he would go out at 2 in the morning and sit on a curb under a street light to think on how how we could put an act together.
Very smart guys.
Yeah, and all of them had the same thing. They would say, I want to create an effect. This is what I want to create. Let's say, for argument's sake, I told Steve Nassar this one time. I said, you know what illusion would be great? What? You know how they take a bucket of water and they throw the bucket and confetti comes out? I'd like to throw a bucket of water and have the water come out and solidify into a big ball. Now that's how they would come up with it. They'd say, let's figure out, now you got to figure out how do you do that? Which, you know, of course, I don't think anybody's figured out the one I just came up with, you know, even if it's necessary. But they would come up with, I mean, an idea, and now how do we do it? And to see the thinking that went behind it, you know, it's amazing.
Very good.
But
now, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, on the creative end, come up with something new. I can create scripts. If somebody has a trick and they want me to come up with a script for it, I could do that. But to sit there and invent the trick, let's put it this way. If the caveman was me and you wanted me to come and invent fire, we would still be eating raw meat and vegetables without cooking, because there's no way I would figure out how to make fire. That's for sure.
Amazing. Okay, I have another question before we start with one picture that I'm going to show up so you can start talking about it. Do you think magical societies, magic clubs, is good for a magician to become better magician, to grow up as a family, to help each other?
I definitely think that. And let me tell you why, just from being in Ring 45. And it's funny, I'll tell you something Randy, the amazing Randy, told me the first year I met him, when we hired, well, when I say hired, that's a joke. He didn't charge us anything. He did a lecture for free. He's a gentleman, a great guy. But 1992 is when I met him. And I talked to him. I said, are you a member of any magic clubs? He says, no, Rick, I'm past that. He goes, but magic clubs are great. They give the amateur a place to practice, you know. A lot of people who join magic clubs never practice anywhere but the magic club. Now, I didn't know that at the time, but over the years, you realize that, you know, I remember when Fort Lauderdale had 150 people. And on the days I would go up to Fort Lauderdale, in fact, the first time I did, it was with John Delaney. We drive up to Fort Lauderdale, and there was like 150 people. Murray Weiner was one of the officers. I can't remember who else, but they're taking roll call, and they said, okay, we got 9 acts, 9 guys that want to show us some magic in a little while. And then after he gets done saying that, Bill Malone walks in, and I had never met Bill Malone. Wow. I heard about him, but never met him. He comes walking in, and Delaney says, there's Bill Malone. So then he says, oh, Bill Malone's in the house. They go, welcome, Bill. And Murray Weiner, and plus me and John at this point were thinking about putting Magic on the Beach together. And Murray Weiner, after he said, welcome, Bill Malone, the next thing he said is, hey, Bill, you want to do a little something tonight? And Bill says, gee, Murray, no, I didn't bring anything. I just wanted to come and see you guys. And Delaney gives me the elbow. And I said, yeah, you're right. I know what you mean, John. And that's, I mean, I've known that before that. You don't ask a professional to perform for free. You know, you just don't do stuff like that. I mean, maybe Murray was good friends with him, but Bill was, and I never in my life asked Bill Malone or anybody to come to Magic on the Beach for free or work anywhere for free. All right. And I'll expound on that with me and Bill in a minute. But that 150 people, only 9 people wanted to perform. And, you know, they even said, and the same thing with Ring 45. Ring 45 with Tony Garcia, he had, when I first joined, he had 80 or 90 people. Most of them were kids that bought stuff from his magic shop, and you would sit there and watch 20 or 30 kids perform. Yes. And it was great. It was great for the kids. It was also great for Tony owning a magic shop. But be that as it may, that's fine. The magic clubs are a great place for people to learn. Now, with that said and done, look at Ring 45. Obviously, Fantasio, but let's look at the kids. Jason Ace, world champion, Ring 45. He learned how to do magic at Ring 45. Yeah. Then you had Leo Holtzman, Ring 45. Now, Danny, Ring 45 and Club Magico. Yes. You've got Will Golden. He placed 3rd in the Nationals. Very good. You know, and then also, you know, other guys are the adults. Omar Ferrer, you know, Alberto Lorenzo. All these guys were involved in the local magic scene. And, you know, just the fact that they could help, they may not agree with me, I don't know, but I think the fact that they worked, we would hire them to work different, you know, parties and things like that, whether directly or indirectly. I think the clubs always help some of these guys, you know, whether they admit it or not, or want to admit it, you know, that's another story. But I think they'll all say, yeah, the fact that they were able to perform at either Magic on the Beach or perform at Ring 45 Banquet or Club Magico on the monthly meetings. Yeah. Anytime you could perform, because you could practice in front of a mirror all you want, you're not going to get good until you perform in front of a live audience.
100% correct, sir.
That's where you're going to get the feedback. Yeah. You know? The mirror isn't going to tell you flashed, you know? Yeah. So I'm going to show you a picture now. Yeah. That's Colonel John Delaney. He was the president, vice president of Ring 45. He was the vice president of Florida State at one time. And he and I came up with the idea, along with Don Schrager and Hector Ace, to put a convention together with Ring 45. And that's the first program. September 15, 16, 17. 1995. Unfortunately, John never made it to the convention. He was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer right before it. And I remember calling him up on Sunday after, because here's the thing, John was retired Air Force colonel, retired Metro-Dade police investigator. And he had, let's put it this way, he was comfortable. And his wife owned North American Van Lines. And him and I was making okay money, but I wasn't wealthy. And he and I said, look, if we lose money on this, Ring 45 doesn't have money to lose. What do you say we split the loss? And I said, sure. Well, when John got sick, I was kind of nervous, because if we lost money, I wasn't going to go ask John, who's dying of pancreatic cancer, for any money, or his widow if he died. Yeah. So I'm thinking, if we lose money, I'm going to be stuck with it. But I did it. But it turned out we ended up making a $2,400 profit. And I found that out on Sunday, the last day, when I'm counting the money and looking at the bills. And I called him up on Monday. I said, John, You could take a deep breath. We didn't lose any money. We made about $2,400 for the club, and more than that, it was everybody loved it.
Yeah.
But then he died 2 days later, from pancreatic cancer. So
Wow.
we voted to dedicate all the Magic on the Beaches in his honor after that. Which in all the programs, I think I always mentioned something about John in every program after that. So, and then that first year, okay, you didn't. That's all right. That first year we had Dale Salwick and Chuck Fain. We hired them. I got Carnival Cruise Line, not Carnival Cruise Line, excuse me, Carnival Airways.
No, I put the picture back. Don't worry, go.
Yeah. Carnival Airways was still in business. We got 2 round-trip tickets for Chuck Fain and Dale Salwick to come from California. And then the rest of the acts were all local. And it was Jason Ace, Hosseini and Stella. And then we
I have it right here.
Yeah.
I have it.
Yeah, and Robert Bengal.
Yes.
And Randy.
Dale
Salwick. And Dale Salwick closed, I believe. No, I take it back. No, yeah, Dale closed. Rand Woodbury opened with Illusions. And Rand, if I can't swear to it, but I think if he charged us anything, it was just a couple $100 to pay for his assistance, because we could never afford it. He was fantastic. He worked the second Magic on the Beach too, where he closed, I believe. And he always came up with great illusions. He was a great illusionist. I think he's still around, but, and Rebecca Yan, she did a great job. Now, that year, what was interesting, Randy, like I said, volunteered to come and do a lecture. About 2 weeks before, he calls me up because, Rick, I got a problem. Dateline NBC wants to do a special on me, and they want to film it that same weekend. So I said, Randy, listen, no hard feelings. If you can't make it, I understand. He goes, well, I got a solution if it's okay with you. I go, what's that? What if I recommend that they come and they film this whole thing in Miami at the Radisson Hotel, the Marco Polo, at Magic on the Beach, and they tie the convention into it? Would that be okay? I said, are you crazy? Yes, it's okay. And they came, they spent the whole weekend there, and we ended up months later with at least 20 to 30 minutes on Dateline NBC. And the performers, every performer had to sign a release. The only one who didn't sign a release was Rebecca Yan. She goes, no, I don't want, they're going to have to pay me. So she didn't see any value in it. All the other performers said yes. All the other performers got free national exposure on TV,
Oh, wow.
And they didn't show the entire act. They just showed fast clips, but it was great. And we have that tape and we put it on as part of our 10-year tribute. Yeah, this year, that was the third year we did it, I think.
Third?
And Dale Scott is another one. I can't say enough good things about Dale. He never charged me a dime for this. He says, Rick, I got a new act I want to try out, or, I'll do this. And he did 2 or 3 Magic on the Beaches where he didn't charge us anything.
Oh, wow.
Marcelo Contento from Argentina. He passed away from brain cancer a couple of years ago. Primo Blast, and that's Michael Miller, who was past SAM president, and John Rackerbaumer. And in the next picture is the second half of the acts, which was Eddie Fields. Yeah, there's a couple of them.
I'm trying to look. Hold on. Is this one?
No, that's the cover, and that's Juan Majoral and Dean Gunnarsson. They were also there. And Dean did a great job. He did the milk can escape, water all over the stage, but it got mopped up real good. He did that, and before we got a lot of TV coverage, they chained him up and threw him into the pool at the hotel, and he got out of that. And that was a special tribute to James Randi, where that was the first year. Actually, take it back. I don't have a picture of it, but we did a surprise dinner show for Fantasio earlier, and we gave him that glass statue, Lifetime Achievement Award. And we kept giving that. We gave the same one to Randy here, and later on, Florida State, we gave it to Norm Nielsen up in Tampa at their convention, the Florida State Convention.
This one is good. This is the first one that I attend.
Okay, that was 5. Yeah, that was the year we had the hurricane.
Yes.
Yeah. And you'll know that convention, a hurricane hit that weekend. And in fact, I'll never forget, Pinellas was the mayor. About 2 weeks before, or maybe a month before, there was another scare, hurricane scare, and Pinellas closed the city of Miami for 5 days. And I was handling car dealerships. Everybody boarded up, and the hurricane never hit. So we lost 3 or 4 days of business. You know, the car dealer, everybody did. The morning of the convention, Friday morning, I wake up in torrential rain, and a tropical storm is coming in, and Pinellas goes on the air. I said, "You better not close down the city, you son of a bitch." And he says, "We're not going to close down the city yet. We're going to see how this turns out." So I got to the hotel. By the end of the day on Friday, he closed down the city, but all the performers were in except for Juliana Chen and the Dove actor we're looking at. Oh gosh, Ice McDonald.
Ice McDonald.
Their planes were detoured to Tampa. So I got a hold of both of them. I said, "Look, here's Juliana's phone number. Call Juliana, rent the car. I'll pay for the car, and both of you drive down." And that's what they did. So they both got down on Saturday. But then Juliana says her costumes and her backdrop was sent to Colorado. So we were on the phone, and the airport got them, and they flew them to Miami. They arrived at Miami International Airport at like 7:30. Jeff Silver was there waiting for it. But we knew we were going to be late because she was the closing act, but she still needed her props and everything. So we instead of starting at 8 o'clock, we pushed it, you know, to like 9. Armando Vera, who's there with the card.
Yes.
Leonard Green.
Yeah.
And somebody else. I forget who else. Maybe it was just those two. They worked the lobby. Now you imagine the lobby at that hotel.
Lena Green worked the lobby, and also
Armando Vera. Yeah, he did too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah, and Leonard Green put duct tape in a semicircle around the table about 10 feet, which was brilliant because that allowed a lot of people to see what he was doing. And Vera did the same thing. And let me tell you, with the hurricane, with everything starting late, nobody, and we had 234 people attend that year, which was amazing. And we had about 20 that couldn't make it. And we gave them all credit for the next Magic on the Beach, and all of them within the next 5 years used up the credit, and they all thanked me for doing that. But yeah, the hurricane, I was scared, but man, it turned out to be one of the best conventions, and it was killer. Everybody was on. Leonard Green did, and Armando did extra, like I said, entertaining before the show. Then the show went on, and it was a great hit.
I have another poster here. This is another one. The next one, no? Paul Diamond is here.
Yeah, Paul did a lecture. That was like Paul Diamond's 3rd farewell lecture.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he kept living, so he kept on doing.
God.
Here's my other farewell lecture.
Oh Dios. I have some more pictures here. Let me see. Hold on a second. I got another one. Oh, we're already talking about this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Enrique Magoo, all those guys. Yeah.
Carl Glutier. I remember Carl Glutier.
Right.
This is the guy, Tom Bloom. Kevin James.
That was the 10th one, yeah. And we did that at the Wyndham Hotel. That's the first year we left the Marco Polo.
Correct.
And financially, it was a mistake because we had staging. Yeah, we lost money on that. But luckily, we had made so much money the years before, and it hurt. But we lost about $6,000 on that convention.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Mostly because of where the theater was. The theater was up in a starlight room, which was surrounded with windows. And in the summertime, well, it wasn't summer, but it wasn't getting dark till like 8 o'clock at night. So we were doing a daytime show and an evening show. We had to get paper and cover every single window on the top.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, what a pain in the ass that was. But it went well. And Guyton Bloom, we gave him the award that year, Lifetime Achievement Award. This year, we had one of my favorite Dove acts is James Demare. We had great Dove. We had Greg Fruin. We had Jason Byrne at different years. We had Ice McDonald, Amos Lefkovich.
Team.
Just a matter
Remember
of
Team? Oh,
Kevin King.
Kevin King, man.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Kevin King is gone. Renee's gone. Fantasio's gone. Simon Lovell's very sick. what's his name, Falkenstein and Willard, when Falkenstein's gone.
Yeah.
It's rough. And also, if you notice, see Shoot's outfit? Shoot
Yes.
at Magic on the Beach did close-up only. But then we brought him back to
yes.
Magic in the Glades, and we had him do a stage show. He did a stage show, plus he did close-up.
Awesome.
And
yes.
I said, you do stage too? He goes, yeah, I like close-up better, but I do, and he did a great job in stage.
What about this one? Look at this one.
I'll tell you,
Ayala.
Rich Block is probably the best MC ever.
Yes, you got it.
And he did an act and he asked me, how big is the stage? It's huge. And he produced the American flag that filled up that entire stage. It was great.
Yes.
And then, Ayala and Tanya, I mean, fantastic. I mean, it cost us $800 just to bring in the illusions. but
I remember.
But it was worth it. And
a lot of big boxes.
The gesture, holy crap, he was phenomenal. And Guy Bavley and Doc Hilford both did great job.
Oh, I remember Doc lecture. Yes. Everybody was amazed.
Amazing,
Yes.
It was something. And John Gallo, I think he's from Australia or something, I forget. Now, I just included this because we had Steve Bargatze, and he says, you put on a great convention.
Nice, very nice.
And now he's the IBM president this year.
Yeah.
And his son is a very famous stand-up comedian. I forgot he goes under the name Bargatze, I believe. But he and his son, he opened for his son out in Vegas one time. His son had a show out there. Yeah, and this was, that was the year we had Bargatze. But, next to Bargatze, this guy from Australia, Patrick, P-E-T-R-I-C-K.
Uh-huh.
We could have given him a whole stage show. The guy was freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
He do everything.
Oh, he was great. Ali Bongo was great MC, and he did an act, and Michelle and Greco, of course, and J. Scott Berry, and then Darwin Ortiz with his lecture on...
Greg Fruin, bro. I remember Greg Fruin's act. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's the first time I saw a girl appear, when they vanish the doves and a girl appears. I think that was the first time I saw that happen, And then this one was, with Demir.
No, we already saw this.
Yeah, that was
the cover.
2001. Yeah,
this
that's the cover
poster.
of the...
I'm looking for some posters now.
Well, none of these are posters. These are just the covers of the programs.
Oh, the program. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
The covers of the programs. This was inside, and I didn't realize it. The printer screwed up. You see the double, like
yes.
Jade? Yeah, they made a screw up in printing. He didn't charge us that year for the printing, but on the cover it came out okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the cover came out fine, but on this inside it was double exposed or something.
Aldo, Jason Byrne. Wait. Okay, let me see if I have more right here. No, I got all of them. I think I got all of them.
And that year, Tina Leonard, Jason Byrne, Mike Caveney, Jade, all those acts were great. Aldo Colombini, I believe.
Yeah, all those people are awesome.
Yeah,
all of them. Okay, Ricky, let me stop this. Hold on a second. How many people I have now? I got some people sending me messages. Hold on a second. Let me see what it is now. Okay, Ricky, I have another question for you. What is the best advice you have received as a magician? And if you remember the guy who gave you the advice. I'm talking about performance-wise, you know what I mean? The question is, what is the best advice you have received as a magician? And if you can know the person that gave you the advice as a performer.
Wow, good question. Boy, I wish you'd given me that earlier to think about. Damn. Let's do another one. I got to think that one because I've gotten so much from so many people.
Okay, then is the second part of that question is what is the best advice you, Rick, give to someone? And if we can know the name of the person that you give the advice. In this case, you giving the advice.
Well, I guess that would be, to Jolie. And that was basically, practice and try to practice in front of live audiences as much as you can. That's why we did so many of the shows at the hospitals, because Jolie never wanted to perform because her dad had enough social influence, he could have got her jobs all over Miami with his connections. She didn't want to work for money. She says, no, I don't want to work for money. So I said, well, would you do work for children? Yeah. So then we got hooked up with a little lighthouse, Ronald McDonald House, Children's Hospital, and that's where she liked to perform. In fact, Linking Ring, I submitted the story, of course, but there's a gentleman, and I'm really bad on names, but he does an article with people that perform at hospitals and stuff. And he did a great story on her that me and him both wrote. But yeah, practice, practice, practice. I mean, that's it. And then, and even in talking to Aldo said, I asked Aldo, I says, how much do you practice? He goes, and what advice do you give about people on practice? How many hours a day? And he said, which I was surprised to hear it from him, but then when you think about it, it makes sense. He says, Rick, I tell people practice as much as you want. And then what he said hit home with Julie, because with the dad pressuring her, he says, because if you're practicing because you're pressured to practice by somebody else, you're going to hate magic.
Yes.
And that's it. If you don't like practicing, practice as much as you want. When you get tired of it, stop. Watch TV, go read a book, you know. So, you know, that's pretty much it. Now, advice that people gave me goes back to Bob Gabriel. Once he realized I was going to be serious about it, read books. Study books,
yes.
You know, and like in my case, it was coin magic, modern coin magic with B.B. Bozo. And then after that, it was Slidini's books and so on and so forth. But yeah, you know, you can learn online videos, but it's not the same as learning from a book.
Yeah, it's not the same.
And because you miss the nuances. And then, of course, once you do learn, even if you're performing free shows for charity or just performing for your family and friends, practicing in front of somebody who's going to give you real feedback, you know, and you'll know. I mean, if they're polite, they'll give you polite applause, but you can tell polite applause from real enthusiastic applause, you know, but just practice in front of a live audience is probably the main thing. And, you know, find out what you think you like too. You know, don't try to be everything. Like I said, I'm not a stage magician. I'm not going to fool myself with it. I've done it in the past, but after doing some stage, doing parlor and doing walk around, I prefer the walk around. I mean, I feel more comfortable in that element. And, you know, don't try to be a jack of all trades, but, you know, figure out what you like and then put a tight routine together. And again, if you're going to do it professionally, I'll tell you, Carol Fox gave me advice years ago. He said if he had to do it over again, he would have a full-time job and do magic on the side because it's tough. You know, it's in any business, it's ups and downs. But Carol Fox says, you know, he made a good living because he came up with the magic of Ford Motor Company, and they hired him to hire magicians and train magicians to do grand openings to introduce the new Fords at dealerships across the country. But he says you get used to doing that, and then when that's gone, it's hard to replace that kind of an account, you know?
Yes.
So, you know, he was saying do it part-time. Well, you know, that'll fit some people, but some people want to do it full-time. Now, advice, again, talking about it, in 2006, IBM convention was in Miami. We didn't do a Magic on the Beach in 2006. We skipped that year because why compete with IBM National? And we, Ring 45, acted as the host. The opening lecture was supposed to be Aldo Colombini.
Okay.
He called up and says, I ain't going to make it there today. He missed the plane, whatever. So they come to us, what can we do? The kids, because it was a junior lecture for juniors, 18 and under. So Will Golden says, Rick, why don't you and me do a lecture? And Will is a Chavez School graduate, so he knows state presence, and he also placed third in Cleveland in the IBM National, and he's got his chops. And then I says, well, you talk about stage presence and stuff like that, and I'll talk about restaurant work. And they, okay, great. So Will went first, and he talked about dressing properly and all of that, and you know, make sure your clothes are well pressed, make sure your shoes are shined, never turn your back to the audience, you know, all that stuff. And it was good stuff. And then he gets done and he introduces me. I walk up there with my back to the audience, put my foot up on the stage, spit into my hand, start polishing my shoes. And I turn, I said, look, I'm just having fun with Will, but he's 100% right. And I go through the restaurant. I said, I'm going to do my restaurant act, you know, my table act, which is about 15 minutes. And then I'll answer questions, you know, and we'll talk about it. So I did. And one of the questions from the kids were, can you make a good living working restaurants and bar magic? And I said, yes, it depends on your definition of good living. I said, my definition of success is doing what you love for a living and making enough money to make you and your family happy. And I mean, that's the advice I gave these kids, whether they like it or not. But, you know, think about it.
Very good.
There aren't going to be too many guys that can make as much money as Bill Gates or the guy, BB, whatever his name is, from Amazon or Google. And you want a camera, babe? I'm in the middle of an interview. My wife just moseyed in. Say hello.
That's okay.
So anyway, you know, it's, you make enough money to make your family happy, and you do what you love to do, you know, and that's success, you know. And there's people, I could give you another analogy on that. My dad worked at a company that was, I wouldn't say computers, but they made high-speed printers back in the 70s, Potter Instrument Company. And the vice president started at $50,000 a year, which back in 1970 is a lot of money.
Yes.
And one of the vice presidents who's friends with my dad, he quit. And, you know, okay, he quit. Figured he got another job somewhere. About a month later, my father's driving down Merrick Road, which is about the same size as 103rd Street. And he pulled over because they had guys selling Sad Bread hot dogs. They did that all the time. You know, $2 for 2 hot dogs and a Coke. He pulls out, parks, gets out of his car, and who's there? The guy that was vice president of Potter Instrument Company.
Wow.
And he looked at him and goes, Joe, what are you doing here? And he started laughing. He says, I know it looks crazy, but let me tell you something. I'm my own boss. I get here at about 10 o'clock in the morning, so I don't have to be sitting in traffic for 2 hours. I work through the lunch hour, and I leave when I'm done, when I'm tired. When I get tired of being here, I leave at 2 or 3 o'clock, and I go home. And I'm not making much less than I did working as vice president of Potter Instrument Company. And I don't have the stress of being a VP and hitting deadlines and production schedules. So he found something he enjoyed, which was a hell of a lot less stressful than being a vice president of a big corporation. And he was making enough money to support him and his family. And that's, to me, what it's all about, you know? So.
Okay, that's awesome. Very good.
Yeah.
So I got some people here now. I'm gonna, Simon sent me a test through the chat.
Hello, Simon. I wish I could sign language.
He says, he says hi. Okay, so I still miss the wonderful convention of magic on the beach. Hope someday I will host the convention in Miami. Wow, it's gonna be insane.
It's something. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to promise anything to anybody because of this stupid virus, especially. We don't know when it's going to be over and we're going to be able to have 300, 400, 500 people sit in a theater. But May of 2021, which is not that far away, what, about 8-10 months away, is the 75th anniversary of Ring 45.
Wow, come on, Ricky.
Yeah, now I know.
You gotta do something.
I know. I don't know if we can do a convention, but maybe we'll do a big dinner show or something and bring in some.
Yeah, something like the 3-day mini convention that we did, but something similar.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Let's see what we can do.
Right now, in about 5 minutes, I'm gonna start. Please, guys, turn off your cameras so I can put some pictures. I want to take some pictures of everyone that is here, so you're gonna be in the YouTube channel. So please, if you turn off your camera for now. Prendan la cámara, que no me está entendiendo. Prendan la cámara, turn off your camera, please. If you can, turn it on so I can take some pictures to putting on the. I'm waiting. I have a few more people. Thank you very much. Antonio, Christopher, Herb, and Corey Allen. Please turn off the camera for a few moments only. And just want to take some pictures. I'm waiting.
Corey Allen's there?
Corey Allen is here, yes.
I want to say something to Corey. I haven't seen
I'm going to open the microphones down a bit. Corey, please, if you hear me, open your camera, please. Corey's here. I see Corey. Antonio, Christopher, Herb. Please say something to Rick. You want to ask something. You want to tell a story. Raise your hand. I see Nelson raising the hand. So I'm going to open Nelson first. If you want to ask something, let me know, please. Just raise your hand. Do like this, and I open your microphone. Go ahead, Nelson.
Okay, everybody hear me? Yes? All right.
Yeah.
Okay, say hi for everybody. No, but Rick,
Hey, Nelson.
I enjoy, man. See you. No, beautiful interview. No, but be sure I get the lottery. No, Simon live here to me. I put the Miami Beach Convention again. No, I have a dream. I have a dream. Anyway, thank you.
I had a dream too, but it's more of a nightmare.
Very sure. Yeah, I
We'll
got
see.
a lottery. You
Oh
will.
yeah,
No,
sure.
so anyway, I make an applause for you. No, your history. I'm so happy feeling like you.
Thank you. It's great to see you again.
Nelson is a good friend.
Oh yes, very good
Nelson,
friend.
we are a really good community here, a really good family. With
The life continue. No, maybe we see you in our club.
We got to see about Club Magico because they could fit 30 people in there. We could go 30 people inside. You know, let's see. Maybe do another Club Magico soon.
Thank you, Rich.
At the Sinai Garden.
All right.
Miss it. Thank you.
Say hi to your wife.
Will do. I will do.
okay, 1 second. Thank you, Nelson. Armando, let me open Armando's microphone. It's open. Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
You hear me?
Yes.
I hear you.
I'm a former member of the 14th Ring in Miami. When I was living there, I met Rene at his magic hut, and he asked me to go there. You can see here, I got in frame the 9 convention of Magic on the Beach signed by all the participants.
Right. Very good.
My ticket and my badge there.
Ricky, Armando was a really good friend that I found here in Miami. He's Argentinian. He's living in Cancun right now. And actually, he has a really good show on the Riviera Maya, I think it is, the hotels, no Mexico. He's doing mentalism, and he's doing really well. So he remembered you guys a lot. I remember he was, actually, he's a gray hair now, but before, his hair was black. We spend a lot of time. We have a lot of fun together. Maybe you don't remember him, but yes, Armando is a good friend.
Very well. Thank you very much. Fantastic.
Thank you, Rick. I remember you.
And you're from Argentina, so you knew Fantasio?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's something sad. Yeah, we miss him. Yeah, we miss him very much. Yeah, Rene Levin also, yes. We had Rene Levin at Magic on the Beach.
Yes.
And boy, one of our guys, Oliver Cadorno, who's Argentinian, he translated. And what's funny is before the show, Oliver rehearsed with Rene. And he comes to me and he says, Rick, I'm really scared. He goes, why? He goes, well, Rene told me the last person that translated for him did so bad he threw him off the stage. So yeah. So anyway, Oliver translated, and let me tell you, I don't speak Spanish, but the translation was so good. I mean, not only did he translate the words, but he expressed the feelings that Rene was trying to express. I believe he did a really great job. In fact, Rene Levin told him, I wish I could afford to hire you full time to travel the world with me because you're the best translator I had. So Oliver, did a great job, but what a great lecture that was. I mean, not a lecture, it was a show. He did a great show, but boy, was that fantastic. And I saw him again in Argentina in 2005 when we went there with Fantasio and he performed. In fact, he went on, oh God, an hour or two just on his performing. It was nonstop. It was unbelievable. Yeah.
Thank you, Armando. Okay, I think I have Corey. Corey, I send you yes. Go ahead.
There you go. Yes. Rick, thanks.
Hey, Corey, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. Great to see you.
Last time I saw you was the Christmas party up in Boca at Hank's Christmas party.
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Renee, for putting this together. Thank you, Rick. Great stories. A lot of history, a lot of knowledge you're sharing. Good to see you.
Excuse me 1 second. Sit down. I'll be there in a minute. So I'm sorry about that. I had a little interruption. Corey, I don't have your phone number. I don't want you to give it out online, but I did want to get a hold of you. I'll tell you my phone number. How's that? And then you call me when you get a
Let me
chance.
find a pen. Give me a second. I'll be right back.
Sure.
In the meantime, Rick is going to sing a song.
Oh, yes. You want to see my chop cup now?
Dale.
Huh? Really? Okay.
Wait.
You're welcome. Good to see you.
We talked earlier about the meetings. Renee earlier says about meetings and clubs and stuff like that. And it kind of touches on, I'll touch on it, but also in hiring acts. Like I mentioned, I don't know how long you've been watching, but I never in Magic on the Beach ever tried to negotiate somebody down from their rate, because they're professionals, and if they want X number of dollars, if I can afford it, I hire them. If I can't, I don't. You know, I just tell them I can't afford it. And then if they come back and lower it, that's how I always operated. And I never asked the performer to work for free, ever. And I wanted to point that because the one time I went to Florida Magicians Club, Bill Malone came in. It's the first time I ever saw Bill Malone. I'd heard about him. This is back in 1992. Well, actually, 92 or 95, whatever, but it was a long time ago. And Murray Weena asked him, "Hey, Bill, will you do something?" And Bill says, "I'm a little tired. I didn't bring anything." And Delaney gave me the elbow. And it just shows you, you know, and again, it's innocent. I'm not criticizing Murray Weena or anybody that does that, but you got to realize it's just like, you know, in fact, I think the All in the Family did a joke about that, where Archie Bunker was a cab driver, part-time cab driver, and he picked up Sammy Davis Jr. And Sammy Davis left his wallet or something, and he found it, and he came to Archie's house, and Archie says, "Hey, Sammy, would you sing a song?" And Meathead says, "Why would you do that? Why you don't ask Mr. Davis to sing a song?" He says, "You know, if you go to somebody's house and they wanted you to fix their plumbing, would you do it for free? You know, and it's the same thing. You know, you just out of courtesy, you don't." But with Bill, on Magic on the Beach, I asked Bill, you know, I asked him, "Would he like to perform?" And he said no. He didn't want to perform or lecture. He goes, "So when I feel like it, I'll let you know." Well, fine. And then every year I invited him and Barbara to attend free of charge. And he didn't make it the first year. I don't think he made it the second year. And the third year, Tim Matevier was working, and maybe you were there too, Corey, I don't remember, where we did the magic of, let me see. Okay, actually, I take it back. It was 1996. It was the second Magic on the Beach.
Okay.
And we had the Magicians of Bill Malone. And Tim Matevier put that together. I think you guys, Tim put it together. So if he didn't pay you, that's his fault. But no, we gave free registration and free hotel rooms for the performers. It was 4 or 5 of you. Bill, I saw Bill at a Fort Lauderdale meeting. He says, "Rick, if I'm available, I'll come down and MC that for free." He was not available. He had a gig to do. But it wasn't until about 2 years later after that, or 3 years. Actually, I'll tell you when it was. I'm going to forget the year. But I got a phone call from Frank Everhart Jr. And he says, "My dad is going to be in town. Would you like him to attend and do Sam the Bellhop and give a little history of Sam the Bellhop?" I said, "That'd be fantastic." And he says, "We'll do it just for registration." I said, "Fantastic." Bill Malone calls me and says, "I understand Frank Everhart's going to be there." I talked to Frank. "How would you like me to be there too?" I said, "Fantastic." He volunteered, and I, you know, again, comped him and his wife the registration. But anyway, I never asked him to do it for free, but he did it. Now, not only did he do that for free, I'm running around the whole weekend, right? And I noticed Bill in the lobby sitting down on the floor holding court with a bunch of kids for hours. At the end of the convention, I thanked Bill for coming, and he says, "No, thank you for letting me come." And he says, "I don't know if you noticed it, but you know, I had fun with the kids." I said, "Bill, let me tell you something. That kind of stuff means more to these conventioneers than the top act I paid."
Oh, yes.
Because for a guy like Bill Malone to take his time out to sit with some people, adults and kids, because they were both, and, you know, just hang out in session with them and give them advice, that's what makes a convention great, you know? Don't get me wrong, you have to have a great acts and great performers, and that's why, you know, I'm willing to pay for them. But it's those things, and it's the same thing. I did not ask Bill, because I always said no filming of anything, you know, because I don't know if these performers wanted film. And it kind of sucks because there's a lot of cool things. But that in particular, where Frank Everhart Sr. and Bill Malone sat side by side, giving the history of Sam the Bellhop,
wow,
finishing up with their different versions of it, it was like monumental. And it was never done before, and it was never done after anywhere. And that's the kind of thing that happened by luck at Magic on the Beach. It never happened anywhere else in the world, because obviously Frank Sr. passed away, so it's never going to happen again. And they never did it after that. The sad thing is, I never even thought to ask Bill and Frank, would you like it recorded just for your own personal? And they never thought to have it done. But can you imagine if we had that on tape, they allowed it to be seen? And we did it in the bar, where at that time it was a sports bar, so they had all these TV monitors, and we did broadcast the whole thing on, because there were people sitting in the back couldn't see the front table, so everybody had a front row seat because you could watch it being done on TV, although it wasn't recorded. And that's the kind of stuff that's great. And you know, I thank Bill for that, because, you know, and other performers have done it. Now, on the flip side, I've had performers where you pay them to come, they show up, you see them at their act, and then they disappear.
Disappear.
I'm not going to say who they are, because I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but you know, there were only a handful of those guys over the 12 years that we did the Magic on the Beach. And then when I say handful, maybe 2 or 3, really. Most everybody who ended up at Magic on the Beach were outgoing, friendly, and sharing. And most magicians are, you know, which makes
awesome.
it cool.
Very good.
But anyway, so. Yeah, but that was a Bill Malone story, you know, great guy. And again, it just shows you don't want to ever ask these professionals to work for free. You know, it's not right, you know. And I've had guys where they'll tell me a rate and I couldn't do it and they didn't want to come down, and, you know, I just can't afford it. You know, you only have a small budget, but there's acts that I couldn't afford to bring in. But if I could, I got them, you know.
Thank you, Corey.
You're welcome. You always did a great job, Rick.
Thank you, Corey. I appreciate that. Yeah. Like I said, our philosophy was to put on the best convention we can. We didn't have to make money because we're a club. We have no expenses. We wanted to make money so we'd have more money to buy more talent next year, but we didn't have any bills. So as long as, you know, we broke even and everybody had a good time, I didn't mind spending all the money on the talent, you know.
Did somebody else want to ask something or tell something to Rick? Just let me know by raising your hand. Is Hank doing a magic act? I don't see Hank. Let me see. What happened to Hank? Disappear?
I put him to sleep. I put Hank to sleep.
Hank is disappearing from the virtual background. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Okay. Did nobody else want to ask something? ¿Alguien le quiere preguntar algo a Rick? Luis, Mago Luis, ¿le quiere preguntar algo? Christopher, you want to ask something? Oh, no, okay. Luis, ¿le quieres preguntar algo? Yo te puedo hacer la traducción. Dime una seña, porque si no, yo no soy adivino. Okay. Ricky, Luis from Spain. This is from the old school magician from Cuba. He's going to ask you something. I'm going to translate, okay? Sure. Arriba, Luis.
En realidad, bueno, yo no sé inglés, entendí
yo lo voy a traducir, dime.
Que en realidad yo no sé inglés, entendí pocas cosas.
No,
pero bueno, creo que su charla fue muy amena, que organiza el festival que organiza él, que con grandes figuras de la magia.
Hold on, para, que si no, no van a entender. Basically what he's saying is that he doesn't know any English, but he enjoyed the virtual charla because we know that we are talking about the festival that we make together, that you put together for so many years. That's basically what he's saying. Go ahead, dale, Luis.
Mis felicitaciones, yo lo conozco de referencia y que lo he visto ahí en el club y eso, y que los carteles que enseñó de todas estas personas, magos, que han participado en este festival, que están muy bonitos, muy buenos, y nada, mis felicidades.
Okay, Ricky, he said congratulations to all the years that you put Magic on the Beach together, and the pictures are very, very good, very nice, and very pretty.
Well, what he noticed, if you're going through all those programs, I'd say 40%, maybe even 50% of the performers are Hispanic. we have Mexico, Spain, Argentina, a lot of Hispanic magicians.
Luis, ahora mismo él me está diciendo que de la gente esa que está ahí en los carteles, había muchos que eran de México, de Argentina, había de Cuba, había de España, creo que vino aquí, sí, vino Mayoral, vino Mr. Magoo. Hubieron muchos que vinieron de otros países, por supuesto.
Yeah, Juan Mayoral is from Spain, correct?
Spain, correct, yes.
Yeah. And Enrique Magoo, I don't know where's
Enrique Magoo from Spain also.
Is he? Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then of course Cuba, Argentina, tons from Argentina.
Yeah.
Gustavo Rally, his father. Oh gosh, Michelle and Greco. No.
Michelle and Greco.
And right here in Miami, all the magicians, Club Magico. I mean,
the last one that we did, yeah.
World champions, for crying out loud. It was fantastic. Fantastic. In fact, when Fielding West saw Omar, his stage act, remember Omar won the contest at Magic on the Beach?
Yes.
Fielding West was the act.
He won. Omar won the stage contest and the close-up contest.
And the close-up.
Yeah.
When he saw his stage act, he's watching it from me in the back. He goes, Rick, I've never seen anything this good. This guy is a world champion. Now, he never won the world championship in the stage, but he did in close-up. But I think his stage act is just as good as his close-up.
He was here before. Omar was here before, but I guarantee you because of the language, he went away. He ran away. Well,
Omar was a big influence with Jolie too, as you know.
Yes, I know that. I know.
And for the record, so was Alberto Lorenzo, but the table and the beginning of her act, the first 60 seconds of the fish act was pretty much him. But the music. So he did a great influence, but I was the one that was there every weekend for the 3 or 4 years.
Yes.
And we brought in, that's why I say, me, if you say I taught Jolie, I was the main guy, but I brought in, Alberto, I brought in Omar, I brought in Dan Stapleton, he helped.
Yes.
Aldo Colombini gave advice. Yeah. Jason helped out.
Jason also, yes.
Because every time she came up with something, I said, I know who knows something about that. And I'd call him, hey, we're trying to do this. And Dan had sent down a floating pearl.
Yeah.
It was just too complicated to fit into the act, but that's what I'm saying. Magicians all over. And even Oscar Munoz, Jolie's dad was very opinionated, and he kept on saying he'd see rallies, the water, the glasses into the water.
Oh yeah, the
cocktail.
Gustavo Rally.
I adapted that to Jolie's act because her father liked it, but we had to get another table, we had to do this, and then we expanded it. So we had an 8-minute act, but it had 2 tables. The close-up table that Alberto made and a side table that he made. And I said, Michael, this is too much. We don't need that whole side table. We don't need anything. No, you got to do it. You got to do it. And we did it at Florida State, and she placed second. All right. Mm-hmm. So now we're going and practicing for the IBM International. And you have to send the tape to Oscar. I send the tape to Oscar, and he says, Rick, she's in. I said, Oscar, can I ask you a question without, any ethnic problem because
correct, yeah,
ethic problem because you're the chairman of the contest. He says you can ask me anything you want. I can give you advice because I'm not a judge. If I were a judge, I couldn't give you any advice. What do you want to know? I said I want your true feedback on the act. What would you say I should do to improve that act? He says, you want to know the truth? I said, please get rid of the side table and the 2 minutes you're wasting over there. It's too much.
Yeah.
I said, do me a favor. I'm going to get Jolie's father. I want you to tell him that. So he knew Oscar Munoz was a Gold Cup winner, okay? Which a lot of world champions, only a handful were ever given the Gold Cups.
Nice.
He says, Mr. Drayling, get rid of the side table. It's distracting. It's too much. I'd rather have 6 minutes of solid magic than 8 minutes drawn out. Okay, Rick, get rid of the act. He took the advice from him, but that's okay. That's okay. It worked. We got rid of that part and chopped it down to a tight 6 minutes, and she ended up winning the world championship because of it. So
very good. Ricky, before we leave, because it's almost done, I think everybody want to see the Chop Cup routine. So are you ready? I think everybody's ready. Even
Okay.
Simon is ready.
Okay, I'm not. If I stand up, you won't see my head.
No,
so
don't stand up. Do it like that.
I'll do it sitting down. Okay.
Yes, pay
Let's
attention
give
now.
you a little, what I do, the chop cup, why I like the chop cup is this is the biggest prop I carry when I do my walk around. I have the balls in my pocket. This is like this, and this is in my jacket pocket. Other than that, I only have a deck of cards, my coins, and a thumb tip, and a wallet for card to wallet. And my routine, if I go up to a table, to get into the table, I used to do, oh gosh, the fizz and flash, where I'd walk up to the table and I'm in the tuxedo, all right? Everybody else at Dave & Buster's, they were pretty much, you know, casual. So they see a guy in a tuxedo, they think I'm a manager. I said, welcome to Dave & Buster's. I'm here to take your complimentary photograph. And I would do this, and I'd say, okay, everybody look into the camera and smile. The women, believe it or not, would say, oh, just a second, and they would do their hair or put lipstick on. The men would be looking at me like I'm an idiot because I'm just holding my hands like this. So then before anybody could say anything, I'd hit the fizz and flash, that would go off, and I say, oh, nuts, I brought the flash, but I forgot the camera. And then I say, now my name's Rick, I'm actually a magician, I'm here to entertain you. And then I would start off with this. And then when the fizz and flash broke and I never got a replacement bulb, I would just use a fire wallet. I'd say, do you have change of a 10? The wallet would come out, no, I'm a magician. Then I'd come up with this. And I'd say, listen, my name is Rick, I'm here to entertain you. I'd say, please examine this cup. And I'd say, here, please examine this ball. And I'd give the girl the ball. Okay. So she'd have the ball, he'd have the cup, examine it. I'd say, are you familiar with the 3-shell game? That's where they have the 3 shells in the P and if you gamble, don't do that. Or the 3-card Monte with the red card and the 2 black cards, don't do it. I'm gonna show you why you shouldn't gamble, but using 1 cup and 1 ball. I'm gonna throw the ball in there and shake it up. You might even be able to hear it.
Yeah, claro, yes.
I stop shaking it, turn it upside down, gravity forces the ball out. I place the cup there, the ball goes into my pocket. And I would show them, just like you, that the ball actually goes into the pocket. Then I'd ask them, where do you think the ball is? The pocket or the cup?
The pocket.
Now, let's say the women under the cup, the men, the pocket. I'd say, gentlemen, you guys are skeptics. You saw me put the ball in the pocket. You're sure the ball's in the pocket. The girls, though, they have faith in me. They're showing a sign of faith in me as a magician. And I want to thank you for that vote of confidence. Unfortunately, I am a magician, but unfortunately, I'm not that good. Nothing's happened yet. Your boyfriends were right. The ball is in the pocket. However, if I place the ball here like this and make a magical pass and toss, that tossing motion is called misdirection. When you look up, that's when I stuck the ball here under the cup. Well, dropped it. I say, now you check the cup, but watch. It actually does have a trap door in the bottom, but don't worry, nobody ever sees it. These things are made in Germany where they make those sham wows. The technology is unbelievable, okay? Now we'll place the ball here, it goes to here, it goes to there, and play a little game, it goes here, boom, and then back behind the ear. And I say, but if I place the ball in my pocket, 1 already appears here under the cup, all right? And at this point, I'll just take the ball, toss it, pull it from the guy's ear, and say, but if I place the ball into my pocket, and I usually just open the pocket, drop it in, I'd say, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to guess how the trick is done. Most magicians are afraid to do that, but you know what? I like you to have a learning experience. Do you have any idea how I do it? And a lot of times they say no, but sometimes some guys say, well, I think you got more than 1 ball. I said, you're right. I got this one in the pocket and I have this one in the cup. I just made it a little bit bigger. So and that's pretty much the end.
Very nice.
And for the lay people, they kind of enjoy it.
Yes. Yeah. Very good. Very good. So with this, I think this is the end of the interview. I got so many pictures already.
Fantastic.
So I'm gonna ask everyone to, let me see 1 second. Okay. Everyone, if you hear me now, you can open your microphones. I send you the order. To end the conversation, we're gonna end with a big round of applause for my friend Rick Del Vecchio. Open your microphones. You can open it.
Excellent job, Renee. This is fantastic. You know, I know you've done a bunch in Spanish, which unfortunately I can't understand. And Carmel, Simon Carmel, fantastic. I read your chat that you were able to.
Hold it there, Corey. Look at the
Yes.
screen, Rick.
Fantastic.
Look at that. That's Corey showing.
Rick, where you put the Hank? Where is Hank?
That's Tim Mativier, Scott Alexander, Tom Gaddis, myself, and Neil Dillon.
Wow.
Very nice. Wow.
That was it, your magic at the beach.
That was
awesome.
back in '96. Yeah. Wow. You guys did a great job, man, Corey. Fantastic.
Thank you.
That was fantastic. Yeah.
Good
No.
job, Ricky.
Always.
Great to hear the stories. Always great. The conventions were the best.
Yeah. And now that you mentioned the Boca Raton Country Club, I never got to go see you guys there because they wouldn't let me in. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But I did get to perform. If you remember, I think it was Mio Rodriguez. He put together 12 magicians. We drove up to the Boca and we took a bus. Each one was on a bus performing magic on a bus from Boca to South Beach and entertaining the folks on the bus. It was a computer group that was up at the Boca Raton having a convention. But on that night, they wanted to go to South Beach and go to different restaurants. And everybody did.
Wow.
Somewhere I will have to get that picture. Tim Mativier was there. Did you work that, Corey?
I am not sure. I did a lot of them back in those days.
But somewhere, you know, I moved from a 3-bedroom, 2-bath story.
You already moved like 10 times.
Townhouse, you ain't kidding. And I had to move into a smaller place, and I'm missing so much stuff. I know it's in boxes. That's why it took me so much. I was up till 2 in the morning scanning all these programs for Renee. But I have a picture that Captain Arnold made. He called it the Dirty Dozen. And it's funny.
Wow.
We had all the magicians in there that worked that event. And it was a great memory, you know, and it was cool. But anyway, it was a great job, Renee, and appreciate it.
I appreciate everyone that is here, and thank you very much, guys. And I see you next week. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here, okay? Thank you to all.
I wouldn't miss Rick.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Simon Carmel. I know
Yeah,
he's got the
Simon.
program. He's got a program that translates what I'm saying so he can see it. That's great.
Okay, guys. Take care.
Take care.
Thanks, Renee. I'll give you a call, Rick.
Take
Thanks.
care,
Hey,
Corey.
call me now
Thank
if
you for being
can.
here,
Thank
man.
you.